So, even though it's a 6 weeks holiday, Ollie has got school. He's got a transition day to meet his new teacher because he's going into year 4. You excited?
Yeah.
They're quite strict. You have to be at the gate at 10. He's there for 3 hours, and you have to go in at one gate and then pick them up at the separate gate down the bottom. So they've got like a one-way system. I wonder if that will continue like in September. You're gonna wash your hands lots, aren't you? And meet all your friends and stuff you ain't seen in ages. He's so happy. Bless your heart. Right, come on then. I brought Cameron with me for support. Well, I say for support. Cameron can take him. I'm going to sit in the car, as I usually would. I'm not one for school runs and stuff. So, yeah. Okay. I can't wait to hear all about it when I pick you up. And see what your new teacher's like and all that, and what you got up to today. I really need to cut your hair. You like it this length though, didn't you?
Yeah, I like it.
I know, but it's getting in your eyes a bit. So, Ollie's back from school. Wow.
Got some sweeties.
He got some sweeties. This was from your old teacher. So, he's got a little bracelet with his name on it. Is it a bracelet or is it a key ring? I think it's a key ring, Ols. It's really nice of her to give you that. Yeah. Did you enjoy seeing all your friends and stuff? Yeah. Is your teacher nice?
Yeah.
Did you have to wash your hands lots and stuff?
I didn't really go out the classroom.
Okay.
I barely went out the classroom.
What room are you in? What classroom?
We are near the...
Just down the hall from where you were?
Yeah, that's down the hall, near the lunchroom.
Near the lunchroom? That'd be handy. That'd be handy. Yeah, I can't believe you're going to be in here for your hair, babe. I need to cut it so much. Get the scissors. Snip, 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 snip. Well, we are having curry for dinner. That's what I was doing while you were at school. I was cooking dinner.
Already?
Yeah, it's in the slow cooker. Beef curry.
Is it good? Are you doing it now because it's going to take a long time?
Beef curry is better in the slow cooker if it's there all day because it tastes yummy and nice and soft. So you can have some lunch then?
Yeah.
Hungry?
I'm hungry.
Cool. So I've been feeling so much better this week, which is such a good thing. Finally, at 24 weeks, I'm starting to actually feel more like myself on the inside. Like the tiredness is easing up and the sickness is... Well, I haven't been sick in a really long time, but the feeling sick, that's like completely gone. I wake up and almost forget that I'm pregnant. I feel that normal, which is really, really quite strange. So this week I've been really busy trying to sort out for Ollie's birthday, which his birthday is next week, and with lockdown and pregnancy, I haven't been as on top of it as I ordinarily would. I haven't been out going shopping and buying him things. I've been looking online, but it's so hard to think of things to get him. So me and Danny sat down and we spoke about it, and Danny's gonna make him a present, and I'm trying to keep my voice down because he's upstairs. Ollie loves Lego. You go into Ollie's room and he just has like a carpet of Lego. Like, you can't walk in his room, you have to do the whole tiptoey thing the whole way around it. So I was thinking about it and I was like, a Lego table would be really, really nice. Then I was like, it's quite small, he would need more space, and that's going to take up a lot of room. So me and Danny were talking and he said, what about something that we could push and pull from underneath the bed? So when you go in his room, it just looks like a drawer under his bed, but then you pull it out and it has, you know, a Lego top and some drawers and stuff to put his Lego in. That way he can get it all out, play with it, and at the end of the day, just push it back under the bed. And then it's gone. And his room's instantly clean. So yeah, we should have thought of it a lot sooner, but that's the way it is. I found they're like base plates, but they're not going to come in time, which is such a shame. Let me show you the one I ordered on Amazon. See that? Because he also liked Minecraft, and I thought that's very Minecraft-like with the water and the island and stuff like that. And then I was looking and they've got track base plates, so I'd like to get him a track one as well. I don't think that's going to come. Oh, a bit busty there. Me probably top down. I don't think that's going to come in time for his birthday, so I think I'm just going to get him plain ones and then either give him them when they come or hold them back, get him the track one so he can swap the tops off and then have like a different theme depending what he wants to play. So yeah, I thought that's a really good idea. So I'm going to take you outside and show you that Danny's starting it and what it looks like, because it's definitely a work in progress. We go through so much wood, like, but we find wardrobes that people are either gifting away for free or selling for 20 quid, and then yeah, and then Danny just takes all the wood apart, makes something new out of it. We've got that. A lot of our furniture Danny's made, as you know. Yeah, and then went to B&M and I got him, they had toys in there, 2 for 20 quid, so I got him a couple of bits there. I'll show them at a later date when I can pull them out. If not, you'll see them on his actual birthday. And I did say to him, what do you want for your birthday? And he said he wants butterflies again. Those that have been watching me for a while would know that last year I got him like caterpillars that you watch and they turn to butterflies and then you let them go free. And he'd say to me, what did you get me for my birthday? What did you get me for my birthday? And I was winding him up and I was going, caterpillars. And he's going, no you didn't, no you didn't. And then when he actually opened them, I thought I'd get more of a reaction, but he was just like, ah. So I didn't think he was that impressed. But yeah, this year he actually wants them. He's asked for them again, so I've ordered them. And it was really fun to watch them change, because they sort of double in size every 24 hours. And they go into the cocoon and then you wait for them to open. It was really, really nice. I really enjoyed it. So I'm glad that looking back, he enjoyed it more than he probably seemed to when he first opened it. I know he enjoyed letting them go. He really loved that. And when they turned into butterflies. But with just a jar of caterpillars on the side, I don't think he was as impressed with them. But yeah, let me take you outside and show you what Danny's up to. Look like nothing now, but it will do.
Oh, the sides are done.
Sides are done.
Yeah. Obviously got to cut them down.
Yeah.
Their size.
Cool.
So then you can pull it from underneath the bed, it's going to be handlier. And the drawers, 2 sets of drawers, little mini drawers.
Yeah.
But it's enough for them to do that. So obviously I was telling them that I was going to be in the man cave.
Yeah. Was they like, can we help you?
And they were like, we're building. And literally all 3 of them asked me individually.
Did they?
What are you making? I went, nothing. And I'm sure then Karen went. And then he went, what are you making? I'm like, I'm not telling you. Alright. This is confidential. I did say though, it's Ollie.
Yeah, it's for Ollie.
But even Ollie asked.
Bless him. I'm surprised Ollie's not asking to help build it.
Yeah.
And then he'd figure out and he'd be like, hang on a minute, I built my own present.
Woohoo! Well done, Oles. Drawers.
Yeah, it's coming together.
Yeah, it's cool. Went to Wickes to get some MDF instead of using big chunky wood.
Yeah.
So as if
it's good to have it narrow anyway, because I'm in the middle of doing my nails. Because Lego's only thin.
yeah,
Yeah. Where's those base plates that you picked up?
base plates.
Yeah.
What base plates?
The truck. No, they're in there watching TV. Look. Wilkinson's. Yes. How much were they each?
£2.
£2 each. So that gonna end up going with this.
And you get you get that. You got the crossroads, and you got the bendy ones.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's brilliant.
it should be good, actually. So we're finished.
Yeah.
Yay!
Brilliant.
So,
And then did you put the wheels on underneath?
not yet. No,
Not
that's
yet.
gonna be the last thing to do.
Yeah.
That's easy. That bit, I know I'm gonna do that bit.
On Lego, these are so expensive. So, and you know, it's compatible. So I did my nails. I took so much off them. They were getting to the point where they were so long I couldn't do anything. Like, I was trying to use my phone and I was pressing things that it was just a state. And I know for someone that don't like pink, I do love a hot pink now. So me and Danny took 5 black bags of clothes, like baby clothes, to the charity shop. Danny went up in the attic and got a ton of stuff down, and I just went through it all. So I did pick up a couple of bits, and there's this little skirt which is so cute. I love going to the charity shop and having a look around. Again, we did want to go to the car boot again this weekend, but it's raining. Some sort of July we're having. Look at this skirt. How cute with the tartan and I love the colour, the burgundy. That's so sweet. Again, the charity shop does like 3 items for £1, so it's really worth it. Little tunic dress. Like, again, I like the burgundies in it, and these are so cute. Oh my gosh, look at this. Little pineapple jeans. It's so sweet. Oh my gosh. This is very pink. Very pink. But yeah, just like a little summer dress. Little jean shorts. These are 18 to 24 months. Because in our attic we are quite organised, where all the boys' stuff we keep in big Tupperware boxes and then label them like 0 to 3, 3 to 6. So where I've been going through them, keeping anything that's neutral and getting rid of anything that's a boy, when I buy things I can wash them, and then Danny can just go up there and chuck them in the right boxes. So as baby gets older and older and older, we just pull down the box that we need, and it has the right age group for her. This I think is so pretty. The lemon and the grey, isn't that sweet? This is Next. I love Next clothes. My boys have always been in a lot of Next clothes. If I can find Next bits at a charity shop or a car boot, that's always a bonus. Little green trousers with the frilly bum. So I got some really nice bits. White top, little bib that says the newest leaf on the family tree, which is really sweet. I did pick up a top for myself. Thought this would be a nice pregnancy top as I grow. I quite like the pattern as well. With the other stuff that Danny was bringing down, I found this. This is so cute. My dad bought this, and I can't remember if he bought it for Cameron or he bought it for Liam, but he sent it down, and my boys have been in it. I can't ever face myself to get rid of this, ever. You know, my dad's no longer around, so it's something that means a lot. As well as Danny brought down my keepsake box, and in there I've got things that, like, I was in the majorettes when I was a little girl, so I've got all my majorettes medals, and I've got pictures of Cameron when Cameron was a baby. But then obviously with Liam and Ollie, because it was more digital, I haven't really got much in the box. I've got you know, the clamp they use for their belly button and pregnancy tests and things like that. It's so nice to just go through all those old memories. So yeah, so we've just been sorting. I've been in that sorting mood. And the other thing I did want to talk about is I did get asked in my comments a couple of times about my birth plan and what I plan on doing, because a lot of you know that Ollie was actually born in this house. I had a home birth with him, and did I plan on having another home birth? And I thought it would be fun just to go through birth stories, going back all the way back from when I had Cameron right up until I had Ollie. And I'd be very interested if you want to share your birth stories in the comments, because I love reading birth stories, because we put in this birth plan and we think how we want it and how we know it's going to go, but it actually never goes like that. They never go according to plan. So with this one, I don't really have a birth plan. I'm not bothering with that because they never tend to go to plan, do they? I remember with Cameron, I was young when I had Cameron, obviously. And I remember being so naive, and when I went into labour being so excited with no fear inside me at all, because I was young. And also the births that I grew up watching, like on TV, there was no one born every minute. And the births that I would see on like Casualty or EastEnders growing up, it was like you'd watch women give birth and it would be so easy, and they'd give birth to this clean baby that was like 6 months old. So I had a real unrealistic expectation of what birthing would be like, whereas I think nowadays women are shown so much you know, just watching TV, that it can terrify you going into it. So in some ways it's like, oh, I was ignorant and I didn't have a clue what I was letting myself in for. But then on the other side, that was really nice for me because, like I said, when I went into labour, I was so excited. I had no fear. And yeah, just all the memories around it. Like I remember when I was heavily pregnant with Cameron, my nan sat me down and spoke to me. My nan was the most amazing woman for giving advice. My mum, not so much. We'll go into that because that's a funny story. My nan said, when you go into labour, and any pregnant women that's not had children before, heed my nan's words, honestly. She was like, just relax through it, because when you contract, like, you're expanding, your muscles are expanding, and the more you tense, the more you're fighting your own body, the more difficult it's going to be for you. Just relax through it. And so that was one of the pieces of advice she gave me. And then the other piece of advice was, do everything the midwife tells you. She tells you to breathe, you breathe. She tells you to pant, you pant. She tells you to push, you push. You don't argue with her, you do as you are told. That was my nan's advice, and I was like, yep, yep, yep. And it worked for me. 3 babies, all the deliveries were all fine. Never had a single stitch with any of them. I listened to my nan. So with all my boys were overdue as well. So let's go to Cameron, ready? So imagine the scene. I'm young, I'm naive, I'm stupid, and I'm about 3 or 4 days overdue with Cameron, and my mum says to me, I know what you need. you need this midwife's brew. And I was like, didn't have a clue. She's like, yep, that'll get that baby moving, that'll get that baby out. So she made it up for me. And anyone that's heard of it or thinking about it, don't do it. I just say that now, don't do it. It's not worth it, right? The main ingredient being castor oil, and then it's got juice and it's got some other bits inside it and stuff. So she made me up this drink and she's whisking it, because as you can imagine, you've got castor oil and you've got juice and other stuff. So they separate, so you have to keep whisking it and keep whisking it. So she gives me this stuff to drink. It's disgusting. Blech. She runs me a nice hot bath, and then I'm drinking this drink. Oh, she had me running up and down the stairs a few times as well. And yeah, so I'm drinking this drink. Oof. And then I'm going and I'm sitting in a nice hot bath and I'm relaxing. And my tummy's like blah, 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 and I didn't feel great at all. Now again, this is my first, so I don't know if this is working, this is working or not, I have no idea. I was like, oh my belly, is this labour? Because every twinge, is it labour, is it not labour? Don't have a clue. And then you can imagine what happens next. I puked my guts up, and it didn't even just come up one way. So as well as puking, I was also itching myself in a bath. I was like, and in the water, because it was oil, it was coming up as oil and everything. Oh my gosh. So I was like, Mum! She comes running upstairs like, what's happened? You're going into labour, what's happened? She looked at me and she was like, oh Helen, stunk. And I stood up and I was like, and she burst out laughing, wicked, I tell ya. And I was like, you can help clean me off. So she like hosed me down and stuff. And I washed, and then I got out and I was like, you can clean that up, it's your stupid idea. Yeah, and then I went to bed. And labour didn't even happen. I still went like 10 days over with Cameron. It's not like it was worth it in the end because I actually gave birth to him, because I didn't. So yeah, I don't listen to my mum's advice. But my nan, she did give me solid advice, I have to say. And then yeah, I was laying in bed and then contraction started. And I remember my first contraction and being like, oh, this is it. Because I think when you have your Braxton Hicks and your twinges and stuff like that, and all your other symptoms in late pregnancy, you just don't know what labour is. But when you get that contraction and it's so deep and it's so like there, you're like, oh yeah, this is it. And I was so excited. I was like practically jumping up and down for joy. I was so excited to go into labour. And then I woke my mum up and I was like, Mum, I'm in labour. And she's like, no, you're not. And I was like, I am, I really am. She's like, Helen, if you was in labour, you wouldn't be this happy. And I was like, I am. I phoned him up. Cameron was actually born on Bank Holiday Monday. So I was ordinarily I would have been induced 10 days later, but because it was Bank Holiday Monday, they was actually going to do it the following day. So when I phoned up the midwife and was like, oh, I'm in labour, they were like, yeah, you can come in. They were a bit funny with me. They're like, you can come in, but if you're not in labour, you're just going to be sent home. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, but I am in labour. They're like, well, it's up to you. If you're not so far gone, we're just going to send you home. So I went in, and I was in labour, but they didn't have any like delivery suites available, so they put me in like a triage room. So I actually gave birth in a triage room, and it was pretty quick. It was like 6 hours or so from start to finish, which for your first is pretty quick. I did want a water birth with him, but when I went in, they'd said there's already someone in the pool, because there was only one pool in the hospital at that time. Because obviously, I mean, you're talking nearly 18 years ago, and yeah, so there was like, someone's already in it. If they're done and we get a chance to clean it, you can go in it next. So I don't know if that's why they never put me into like a delivery suite room, because I'd said I'd wanted a water birth, but I ended up giving birth before that lady did. So I gave birth to him in the triage room. And I remember when I gave birth to him, he was back to back, so it was really, really hard. And I only found out later that that can make it a bit more tricky to push out. And I think as well, when you have your first baby, your body does struggle a bit more with the pushing process, whereas the more you have, I think the easier it does get. And I remember giving birth to him and then looking, and him laying there like just looking around, and the midwife, and I was but my face must have said it, like my face must have said it all. I was looking at him, I was like again, like I said, growing up, you know, the only birth stories I'd seen, these babies come out immaculate. And I mean, I was guessing that they'd be a bit mucky, but I mean, that was Sam and Kel's never seen anything like it in my life. And the midwife, she was much older, and she was really, really nice, and she just looked at me and she was like, I'll give him a clean eye and then I'll give him to you. And I was like, whereas now, you know, it's very skin to skin and all that, but then I was so young that I was just shocked. I was shocked. So yes, in some ways it's nice that mothers know what they're expecting, because I really didn't. It's so funny. Yeah, he was £7, and it was a pleasant enough experience. And then Liam, that's a whole nother story. The labour with Liam was horrific, absolutely horrific. So again, he was late. He was 8 days late. And I remember when I was going over, my mum was like, I know what we should do. We should do the midwife's brew. I was like, yeah, no, I don't think so. I was like, I'm not falling for that again. You got me once for that, but never again. And again, I woke up to contractions, exactly the same with Cameron. And I thought, again, maybe I was naive. I thought, well, you know, I know how much time I've got. I know what I'm expecting. So I went and ran a bath. I left Danny in bed. I went and ran a bath, and I was sat in the bath, and I was just like relaxing, and then the pains were getting a bit stronger, and I thought, oh, I need to go to the toilet. Like that. So I went and sat down on the toilet to go to the toilet, and then I realised I don't need a poo. This is the baby. The baby's ready. I was like, oh, I know this feeling. This is the pushing feeling. So I was like, Danny. And he got up and I went, I need to go to hospital. I need to go to hospital now. The problem was, Danny had lent his car out to his aunt, like they'd swapped cars, because his aunt had family down from Germany and she wanted a more reliable car. And so we had her car and she had Danny's car. The problem is, you know, I lived on, you know, a nice council estate in Tottenham, so Danny didn't want to risk Gabby's car getting nicked, so he took parts out of the car so that it couldn't get nicked and joyride, because that was very, very common. So I'm going, I need to go to the hospital, and Danny's like half asleep, like, I need to fix the car. So and I don't even know what he took out. He took leads and all sorts out of this car, so if someone tried to nick it, they wouldn't be able to move it. So he's underneath the bonnet of this car, putting this car together and stuff. And not forgetting, we needed to drop Cameron off at my mum's on the way. So I was ringing my mum, and when my mum's asleep, she's gone to the world. So I was ringing, no answer. And I was like, practically like squeezing this baby in. And Danny finally got the car running, and then I was like, drive as fast as you can. And then I'm going, drive slower because you're hurting me. And then I was like, just bang on the door. You ain't got time to talk to my mum. Just chuck Cameron out the door kind of thing. So we wake Cameron out a little bit. Do we do that? Get to the hospital. Danny, I was like, I can't walk. I can't even walk at this point. I had my hands in between my legs. I was like cupping the baby, like, do you know what I mean? And it's a motorbike. And yeah, so Danny didn't even park the car in the car park. He pulled right outside the labour ward where it's like yellow checkered where you can't park. He just pulled it in. He went, I'll put you in and then I'll go and park the car. So he pulls in, and then I'm like crawling into the maternity ward, and they're like, oh, you know, you're all right, darling, you're all right. I said, oh gosh, this baby. And they're like, come into the delivery room, come straight into the delivery room. And I'm going, I need pain relief. With Cameron, I should have mentioned, I had a pethidine injection. That just made me vomit, so I didn't have that again. And then I had gas and air, and that was it. And then, so I knew I just wanted gas and air. So I'm going, I need gas and air. And the midwife's like, well, hop onto the bed and let's see how far you are. And then we'll talk about, like, you know. And I was like, okay. So I hop onto this bed. This poor midwife, she literally just puts one glove on. She's not geared up to go to do the whole labour thing. She's not ready with any of it. And so I lay on the bed, and she puts her hand inside to see how far gone I am. As she pulls her hand out, I explode. It's like, I'm talking Exorcist, you know, the scene where she vomits, but it was like whew, projectile, and it was black. It was disgusting. So she was standing there like that, no apron on, nothing, and she was just covered. The whole room was just covered with my insides. She starts panicking then, and she's like, push the button, like the panic button. And so Danny's trying to push this button behind me. He's pushing this button and nothing's happening. So then she's practically climbing over me trying to push this button. And Danny's going, it's not a push, it's a pull. So they pull this button and the alarms start going off. And then the room just fills with all these doctors and these nurses and all sorts. It was horrific. And she's standing there, and then these people are like, you know, what's going on? And she's like, she's literally just walked in, and I was examining her to see how far she's gone, and it was just horrific. And they're like, well, why isn't even she on the monitor? Because they hadn't even like hooked me up or nothing. So this other midwife comes around and just holds the thing on my tummy to hear baby's heartbeat. And she's like looking and she's shaking her head. It was so horrific. And everyone starts flapping and panicking, and they're like, right, you need to get this baby out now, And I'm like, I need pain relief, I need gas and air. And they're like, you can't have gas and air. I'm like, but I want gas and air. And then this other doctor's going, just give her the gas and air. And this other doctor's going, she can't have no gas and air. So I've got a doctor here and a doctor here arguing with each other about whether or not to give me gas and air. And then as they're arguing, another doctor walks round. I think it was a junior doctor. So I'm on the bed like this. And this other doctor walks round, literally doesn't look at me, doesn't say anything to me, just pulls my leg, opens my leg, and then has a look. Well, that didn't go down well. And I was like, did you have a good look, did ya? And then Danny was like, Helen. And I was like, wow, you don't do that. And then he just walked off looking at me like, oh my gosh. Because, you know, he looks the same as everyone else. What are you looking at? If you want to examine me, you should, you know, at least say, do you mind if I have a look? Or so strange. He was really, really strange. Anyway, the doctor that said that I could have the gas and air, he won the argument, because he just said to a midwife, go and get the gas and air. So they got me the gas and air. Then they're like, right, you need to get this baby out now, because ordinarily they don't let you have gas and air while you push him. And Danny's going, I've not parked the car. It's out the front. And they're like, don't worry about that, you can park it later, it's fine. So I push out Liam in a matter of about, within 10 minutes of being at the hospital. And he was born face down, which is good for delivery because you don't have that back to back, but also because he'd pooed and his heart rate dropped and he was obviously distressed, wasn't good for him. So he was born face down in his own poo. When I looked down, all I could see was his bum, because he was like that. He was so sweet. All I could see was his bum. And literally, as soon as I gave birth to him, they swooped him away. And there was like a team waiting for him. So they was working on him, putting like tubes down his throat and sucking out all the crap out of him and stuff like that. And then they were telling me off. They were like, why did you wait so late to get here? Like, you should have come a lot long. And I was like, I started going into labour at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'd had him before 3. I said, it happened that quick. It happened that quick. He was 9-1 when he was born, so he was a big baby. And obviously he was fine, but it was very, very stressful. And the midwife said to me, if you ever have any more, as soon as you get a contraction, get yourself to the hospital. Do not wait, because, you know, and it just happened so fast. I went from having a 6-hour delivery to a 3-hour delivery, but it was too fast, as in it was scary fast. And yeah, we had to stay in for like 3 days because they had to keep doing tests on him to make sure that he was okay, but he was fine. So when it came to having Ollie, my circumstances had changed so much, because in between that time we'd moved from my hometown in Tottenham to Kent, and then I had my father-in-law living with me, and he had dementia and COPD, so I had no family around me or anything like that, so I had no one to I could leave the kids with, or to even watch Richard, my father-in-law. So that's why I decided to have a home birth, because again, I wanted another water birth. That wasn't impossible with Liam, and I was like, well, if I have a home birth, I can hire a pool, I will definitely get my water birth I want. I don't have to worry about getting to the hospital in time, because I'll be having him at home anyway. I won't have to worry about anyone looking after the kids, or Richard. I won't have to worry about Danny getting me to the hospital in time. I will have him at home. And yeah, that was the plan. Because if I was going to go into hospital, obviously I'd have been going on my own, because Danny would have had to have his dad and the kids. And my mum, living so far away, like in Tottenham, it would have taken her about like an hour and a half to get to me. And going by my labours getting shorter and shorter, I weren't sure. And again, getting hold of her, because if I go into labour at night, there's no way I'm going to be able to get through her, because she, you know, once she's asleep, that's it. But it completely happened different to what I'd expected. So with Ollie, he was the only one where my waters naturally broke. I mean, I know you can say with Liam they did, but it was because the midwife had touched and interfered, and that's why they broke. Whereas with Ollie, I was laying in bed, and at midnight my waters popped, and I felt the pop. I was like, oh my gosh. So I jumped up, I went into the bathroom, whoosh, my waters broke. Danny was at work, he was on late, and I was like, wow, but I had no contractions. So I phoned Danny up and I said, my waters have just broken, and he said, I'm on my way home. And then I rang my mum, because my mum's a night owl, so I knew she'd still be up. I rang my mum, and she was still awake, and I said, you may want to come down now, my waters have broken. Because, you know, if I wait until my contractions and she's asleep, there's no way she's going to come down. So she's like, I'm on my way. Knowing it could happen all very fast. I was like, my contractions haven't started yet though, but my waters have broken. I phoned up the midwife team and said, I'm scheduled a home birth. My waters have broken, but my contractions haven't started. And she said over the phone that either wait for my contractions to start, and as soon as my contractions start, ring back up and they'll send a midwife out. Or come in the morning if my contractions haven't started, because they need to confirm that my waters have indeed broken. So I said, okay. So I waited for Danny to get in, waited for my mum to come in. I was like, well, nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. So then we had to go to the hospital in the morning, went up there, they checked, they said, yes, your waters have broken. She said, ordinarily we only leave you 24 hours before we have to induce you. And I was like, I really want a home birth. And she said, well, I can give you up to 24 hours. So she said, she gave me some tips and suggestions on how to get labour started, and it did not include the midwife brew. Go home, keep active, you know, try and stand up as much as possible to get labour started. So I was like, she said, but if you don't start, contractions don't start by the end of the day, you will have to come in tomorrow and have an induction. Luckily I did get my home birth. So I come home, Danny's like, oh, I'm tired, I'm gonna go to bed. So he went to bed. And I was just like, you know, pottering around, trying to get these contractions to start. And it was a Sunday. So I thought, well, let me start dinner. I'll start dinner. I guess I'm just going to end up having this baby tomorrow. And so I start cooking this Sunday dinner. And then my contractions start. I was like, ooh, But then, because I'd started dinner, I kind of wanted to finish it. Again, I'm silly. So I left Danny in bed. Danny's basically slept through every single one of my labours and only been there for the birth. That's just basically how this happens. I was cooking dinner. It was taking me a lot longer because I had to keep stopping for contractions. But I didn't want to call the midwife until I'd done dinner because I didn't want to, like, I made everyone a bit uncomfortable. And I remember I was in pain. I was like, oh, having a contraction. And Rich had come out because obviously he could smell dinner. And he knew dinner was coming, but it was obviously taking his time. And he come out and he was like, oh, is my dinner nearly ready? I can smell it, smells lovely. And he saw me like, and he was like, I said, I'm having a contraction, I'll be there in a minute, Richard, I'll be there in a minute. And he's like, okay. And he scurried back into his room. So I dished up dinner and then I woke Danny up and I was like, right, your dinner's downstairs. Please fill the pool up and please call the midwife. I need, you know, it's happening. And then the midwife got bloody lost. She couldn't find my house. And I was like, it's happening again. There's going to be no midwife here to help me deliver the baby and the baby's going to get distressed. But Danny was ringing them and then they eventually found where I was. So Ollie was actually born in the downstairs spare room. And he filled the pool up and I had my water birth, and I have to say, a water birth is the most amazing experience. You almost don't even have to push, because with your body naturally contracting and the pressure of the water, it's just, or maybe it's because it was my third and it was just an easier labour or an easier delivery. But I was like, wow, this is so soothing. I had a mirror, so I could put a mirror down and I actually watched myself give birth, which was amazing. So I always planned, when I found out I was pregnant, if I have any others, I'd love to have another home birth and I'd love to have a water birth. But the problem is, because of COVID, one, they're not allowing home births at the moment, and two, with the baby's heart, because I don't know the extent yet or if things are gonna be okay or not be okay, I kind of don't want to risk having a home birth. I want to make sure that the baby's in the right place if anything doesn't go to plan. Does that make sense? So I will be going into hospital. Times it's a very strange time to be pregnant. But yeah, they're my labouring stories. And labour doesn't go to plan always, does it? So I do wonder. Oh, and Ollie was 8-10 when he was born. So this is the downstairs spare room that actually, it's set up as so I can do hair, but I honestly don't do that much hair in here at all. But this is the room that Ollie was born in, and then this will be the room that will most probably turn into Cameron's bedroom when baby's born. So with that, I just thought I would end this vlog. It was very chatty, this one, wasn't it? I mean, most of it's just me telling you about my labouring stories, but you know, you never know what you're going to get with these videos. So I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.